What would happen if we introduced the main difference between American and European sports into America's most exciting sports league? In this series, we are going to introduce promotion and relegation. With this comes the cost of losing. If you finish in the bottom 3 of the Power 5, then you get sent down to the G5. But on the upside, if you finish in the top 3 of the G5, then you get promoted to the Power 5. Different Power 5 conferences will correlate to different Group of 5 conferences. Each conference will be paired up with the conference that you get promoted to and the conference you get relegated to. The Big Ten will be paired with the MAC. The SEC will be paired with the Sun Belt. ACC with the CUSA, the Big 12 with the American, and the Pac-12 with the Mountain West. No matter how unlikely this scenario is, for example, if Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State all finish in the bottom 3 of the Big Ten, then they will be sent down to the MAC. However, if they win and end up in the top 3 of the MAC the following year, then they'll make their way back to the Big Ten. In order to make this as involved as possible, I've moved all the independents to conferences that would correlate to them. So for instance, Notre Dame is in the ACC, App State, Coastal Carolina, and Old Dominion are all in the Sun Belt, and BYU is in the Big 12. We have kept Army as an independent because that is the team that we're going to use her. On a side note, I wanted to do this with the real updated conferences, but then the CUSA looked like this, and that's not exactly fair for the system, so. Now, let's sim to the halfway point of the first season and see how these conferences are looking. We are now here at the midpoint of the season. Let's go and look at these conference standings. It looks like Alabama's at number 1 overall, so we know they're not going to have an issue. Currently, the lowest ranked teams in the ACC are Virginia Tech, Duke, and Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame is right there with them. So Notre Dame could be somebody to watch to get sent down in this first season. In the CUSA, taking the spots of the ACC looks like UAB, UTEP, and Tulane right now. Obviously, there's a lot of season left, but that's what's looking like right now. Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Louisville, SMU, and Navy are the 3 looking to go up right now. Granted, we're looking to go up at 2 and 3, because that's just conference play. But still, come on. Go up to the Big 12 in your first year. Come on, SMU, I believe in you. And in the Big 12, who will be taking their places in the American? It will be Kansas State, Texas Tech, and West Virginia is who it's looking like. Oh, West Virginia started out 4-0, but then lost 3 straight conference games. That's not great. Heading over to the Big 10, who is it looking like is going to be sent down? So Northwestern, Purdue, and Indiana are the ones looking like they're going to be heading down right now. In the MAC, Northern Illinois, Iowa.
Pause.
Iowa. Ohio. And Georgia Southern. Were they actually in the MAC at some point? I don't know. That's how the conferences were pre-set up. Maybe they replaced a team that used to be in the MAC when the mod updated. But those are the 3 teams looking to make it into the Big Ten. In the Mountain West, looking to go to Pac-12 is San Diego. San Diego State is looking to make a move to the Pac-12 with San Jose State and Fresno State. The teams replacing them down there would be Cal, Arizona, and Colorado right now. In the SEC, who is looking to take those Sun Belt spots? It's looking like Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. And who is looking to take those 3 spots? Texas State, South Alabama, and Georgia State. Looking at polls, San Diego State has actually made it into the top 10 despite being in the lower tier, with Louisville sitting just outside of the top 10. UAB and Boise are also ranked as non-Power 5 members, so hopefully that we can see them also make their way up into the Power 5. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and sim to Conference Championship Week. We have made it to Conference Championship Week, and apparently we did beat Navy in the Army-Navy game. Apparently Ohio State and Wisconsin are going to Big Ten Championship, which I think that means Ohio State must have beaten that team up north, which makes me very happy. Let's get looking at these conferences. We're going to start with the ACC and the CUSA. In the ACC, Miami won it at 11-1, but who lost it? Notre Dame sadly recovered. Who are the bottom 3 is going to be Duke, Georgia Tech, and Florida State heading to CUSA, and taking their place is going to be UAB, Tulane, and East Carolina. So 3 teams that aren't even in the CUSA anymore in real life are going to be in the ACC now. Let's do the American, let's do the Big 12. I'm going to do the American first to see who gets promoted. No! No! It's Louisville, UCF, and Cincinnati going to the Big 12. So 2 teams that are actually in the Big 12 are going back. What? Come on, guys. You were there. You had the chance. I expect you to be there next year. Who's coming down from the Big 12? It's gonna be BYU, West Virginia, and Baylor coming down. TCU was so close to joining us. Baylor, West Virginia, and BYU, welcome to the American. In the Big 10, Ohio State won. They went 8-0 in the conference. Michigan went 7-1. Let's go! Stroud actually technically beat Michigan. I wish I had gotten to say that in real life. Anyway, who's going down? It's gonna be Northwestern, Indiana, and Purdue. And who is coming up from the MAC? I'm trying my best not to make commentary on Northwestern, but Ball State, Toledo, and Northern Illinois are going to be taking those 3 spots in the Big 10 this coming season. For the Pac-12, wow, USC went 12-0, that's wild. For the Pac-12, Cal, Stanford, and Colorado, I believe those were the same teams as we had at the midpoint, are going to be going down to the Mountain West. And coming up is going to be San Diego State at 11-1, Boise State, and UNLV. And finally, the last set is the SEC and the Sun Belt. Who is going down? It's going to be Vanderbilt, LSU, and South Carolina. I think that may still be the same 3, but the fact that LSU is actually going down as a 6-star program is wild. Who is coming up from the Sun Belt? It's going to be South Alabama. Oh my. Coastal Carolina at 5-7 does well enough in the conference to earn promotion. And then Texas State. So even though Louisiana and Old Dominion had far better records, literally 2 games better records, Old Dominion, if there was another tier lower, would have gone down despite going 7-5. That's insane. But yeah, South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, and Texas State are going up to the SEC. Now that bowl season's over, we're going to look at these teams that won promotion and see how they did. It looks like Tennessee won the national championship over USC though. Are you kidding me? So UAB earned promotion, but then lost to SMU, not us because I'm playing as Army, but my team in the bowl game. So despite the fact that SMU wasn't quite good enough to earn promotion, they still beat a promoted team. Toledo got promoted, as did Boise, and Toledo comes out on top in that one. UNLV got promoted to the Pac-12, but lost to a Pac-12 team in their bowl game. In a home bowl game, too, in Las Vegas. South Alabama and Tulane, 2 other teams who both got promoted, and South Alabama comes out on top. East Carolina also promoted, but loses their bowl game. Nebraska beating Ball State, who I think Nebraska's in the Big 10 by this point. They should be. So Ball State loses to a team that they are going to be facing in this upcoming year more than likely. Cincinnati gets promoted but loses. These promoted teams are not doing great. It's a question if they're going to survive in these new conferences. San Diego State gets rolled by Georgia in the Fiesta Bowl, but that one is a bit more understandable than some of these other ones that we've seen. UCF does win their bowl game, so we do have a promoted team that wasn't playing another promoted team winning their bowl game. And followed up by Northern Illinois and Texas State. Both these teams got promoted, and Northern Illinois does get the victory over Texas State. Louisville lost to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl in overtime. So for a promoted team, I'd say that's pretty good. Obviously, it's Louisville, who has not been in the American for a decade, but still, for a team getting promoted against the number 4 team in the country going to overtime, I'd say that's pretty good. And that does it for bowl season. That's every team. So to recap, coming up to the Big 10, we have Ball State, Toledo, and Northern Illinois. And going down from the Big 10, we have Purdue, Indiana, and Northwestern. In the SEC and Sun Belt correlation, we have South Alabama coming up, Coastal Carolina, and Texas State. And going down, we have South Carolina, LSU, and Vanderbilt. In the ACC and CUSA, we have UAB, Tulane, and East Carolina coming up, with Duke, Georgia Tech, and Florida State going down. In the Big 12 in American, we have Louisville, UCF, and Cincinnati going up, BYU, Baylor, and West Virginia going down to the American. And finally, from the Mountain West, San Diego State, Boise State, and UNLV have made their way to Pac-12, and Cal, Stanford, and Colorado have been relegated. And that about does it for year one, but if you enjoyed, we're going to be doing this as a series. It's going to be one season per episode, so if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, please subscribe so that you can keep up with further years of this series. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.